Day 2 of training camp is in the books. In the books, baby. The 49ers are officially back. We've said that once. We've said it before, and it's good to say it again. I tell you what, I got John Chapman here. We may have another special guest. We're going to break down day 2 of 49ers camp. We're also going to talk about all the intricate things that's going around the league. Stick around, baby. The Wayne Breezie Show with John Chapman. Let's get it, baby.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact. Overmotivated is an understatement. Gold-blooded to the core, got your squad hating. Breezy make it look easy. Breezy on everything like 05067 Wheezy. This is not a gang. Yeah, we faithful in every way. And even though we on the East Coast, very loyal to the Bay. Heavy red and gold every day. And if you really a Niner fan, I know you can relate. Applying pressure with this content like Smaller Bear. We not accepting no slander about Trey, so beware. I stay in exclusively Niner hats. And I always tell the truth, this exclusively Niner facts. Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this.
What's going on, faithful? What's good? Happy Friday, TGI to the F. John Chapman, you're here. You're wide awake. You should be used to be getting up this early, if not a little bit earlier. Am I wrong or am I right?
We're building habits, positive habits, and that's wake up early and talk Niners or drive to the Niners. Either one. I couldn't be happier, man. Glad to be here with you, Wayne.
Doesn't it feel good to finally put away like I would say the long ass off season and really have some substance to go about when you're representing the San Francisco 49ers?
Yeah, conjecture's not my strength. It's not. That's not what I really enjoy. I really enjoy seeing play and then analyzing that and kind of what the way in which they're being used and whatever else. And so now we get to do that. Like, I'm a film guy, right? So when there's no film, it kind of gets hard, but I still enjoy it. And I like putting content out there during the off season whenever it's just all crap. And some of, the NFL national media talking heads are still putting some of that out, but it's like, it's almost comical now. The people that have like feeding that Sam Darnold's the number 2 and they're out on Trey Lance narrative that's been out there. Like, you cannot hold that and see one of these training camp practices. It just makes no sense. And so like, it's validation. It's basing things off of what your eye see, empirical evidence instead of just clickbait, whatever else.
I love it. Listen, I refuse during this time of training camp to listen to any negative energy pushed toward the San Francisco 49ers. I refuse. I will turn it off, exit out, or whatever. I just refuse to listen to it. I'm all about this positive trip right now. I want to put positive vibes out there in the air. I want to show positivity from each and every 49ers player, each and every 49ers fan, content creator, whatever it is. I just want to show that positivity. It's a new season, and it's time to get crack-a-lackin', baby. You feel me? Feel me? Just a little bit. Oh,
how could you not? This is the season of hope. We have I hate to say this, by far one of the healthiest rosters, if not the healthiest roster in the NFL, definitely in the NFC West. And people are out there fighting for jobs. Like, this is a very, very positive time. And gosh, man, we're only 2 days in, but 2 great days. 2 great days.
2 great days. We're going to start the show off with a super chat contribution. Let's do it, because Jax Knox is in the building. She's letting everybody know she's in the building. We got a couple of them. I'll read this one. John, you'll get the next one. 17-0, period. Today is going to be a good day. I woke up feeling great, throwing good energy into the universe. John, it's important to give good energy, good vibes. I tell you, if you start your day off good, no matter what it is you go through, you'll end the day good. I guarantee that's a fact.
What starts well ends well. There we go, man. I love it. I love it.
Shout out to Jack Cooley, who's in the building as well. Gets the full board.
Love Mr. Bowtie. Thank you for the super chat, man. Jack's a good dude. Much love, guys. So glad to see all the new 49ers content and conversations as we gear up for the Super Bowl season, which is coming this year, 2023 to 2024. Let's get it. Everything that every single team does, their first goal is win the division. And so first you got to focus on you, and that's what teams are doing now. But man, I don't mind positivity whenever it comes to the Niners. But again, I mentioned this briefly last night. Man, go check out the Seahawks. Ugh, it's rough over there, man.
It's rough, but there's one player from the Seahawks who's doing well. There it is. There it is. I just wanted to put that out there. I got to shout out to the Breezy's bunch. They're in the building. Eddie G and the B-Dogs. That's my nickname for Eddie G, man. Shout out to my man, Mr. Glover over there, man. Appreciate you for joining in. Peachy Brown is in the building. Good morning, Breezy and John. Thank God it's Friday. Let's have a great show. Jax Knox is in the building. Good morning, Breezy and John. And the faithful. Let's have a great show. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mr. Rogers reference. I don't know if you know about Mr. Rogers. I used to run home to watch that. Terradome, the Bishop, is in the building. Shout out Terradome. He says good morning to everyone. Just want to give a couple more. Right, I'm gonna let you got this one because we're not gonna mess up his name today.
You say that, then you send it to me. Ason. I think that's correct. Grand Ason. I hope I'm doing that right, man. Glad to have you. #CC. And I'm sorry, man. I practiced. He emailed me. I practiced more, and I'm still going to mess it up. I don't want to, though. It's broke up here.
I didn't mean to set you up like that. I just didn't want to mess it up either, yo. Don't bother me. He's in the building with the #BB. What's good, Wayne? Still need that remix to Cold Blooded. Listen, I'm working on it. I got my bass player. We've been going through figuring out a different way how we're going to attack it. I'm going to work on some drums this weekend. Gold-Blooded is what's going to be the name of this. I shouldn't have said that.
Gold-Blooded.
What you know about Rick James? Hold up. All right, Marty Mark, 49 Empire's in the building. Shout out to all the members out there. If I missed you, my apologies. We got a lot we want to get to in a short period of time. We got things to do. We got videos to watch. We got a lot of stuff we need to break down. Hey, John. Camp is back, John. And the best thing about camp is that you're there. And see, when you're there, for me, I feel everything is going to be all right. I can trust what's being put out there. You're my source. You know?
I appreciate that. The whole idea is to try and people message me, and they'll say like, man, hey, what's, Robert Beal look like? I already changed his number. And so like, I want to send them a picture. So yeah, here's what he looks like. And so the whole idea is to be the eyes and ears for the people that can't be there. Cause I understand not everybody gets to be there, out of towners, whatever else. And so trying to pick apart, everybody want to focus on quarterbacks. And I do that a little bit, but there's so much stuff going on there. And there's so much uncovered material that is just not getting the playtime that it deserves. And so trying to bring light to those things.
I'm excited for your prequel to I feel like right now it's the prequel to Monday, and people will understand where I'm coming from in a little bit once you start breaking down how the next session of practices are going to look. But we got a couple of super chat contributions we got to get to. We're going to read them as they come. Bump that, saving them to the end of the show.
Yeah.
To God be the glory. I feel like singing it. To God be the glory. That is my song. 49ers football is back. I mean, the faithful are so excited. As they should be. As they should be. As they should be. Eddie G and the B-Dogs. This is how you start Friday. John Chapman and Wayne Breezy, the 4-9 preacher. Love you, bros. Let's get it ready for the season. See you in Jacksonville. That's going to be my favorite game.
It's going to be crazy. It's the closest Niners game to about 10 different states. And so
it's like a hub.
And man, I'm going to say this.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
We are in the works. No promises. With a legend to come out and party with us that weekend. That's all.
Hold up, Sway. Hold up, Sway. Why I be finding out this?
Because I don't want to. I'm just saying.
We're partners.
We're working on it. We are working the back streets. That's
how you going to tell them before you tell me? Hey, Breezy, we working on legend. Period. I gotta find out when my family finds out, I feel
Always get in
disrespected.
trouble. Always get in trouble on this show, man. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
feel
I'm gonna give you.
disrespected.
No, it's not that. It's just there was a reach. Somebody reached out, and so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying. I'm trying. Nothing's concrete there, but no matter what, that party's going to be incredible. With the venue that we got is literally across the street from the stadium.
Just make
Literally
sure
across the
the
street.
inconvenient truth is in the gosh blessed building, please.
Oh, I wish.
Gotta get him in the building.
I'm trying. We're working on it. We're working on it.
All right. We'll leave it at that. John, before we get into training camp news and break things down, let's talk about Deebo Samuel, number 61 on the top NFL 100 list. I believe last year felt like he was like 19. He was higher, 16, one of them numbers. Fell quite a ways, but he still made the list after having a down season. What are your expectations for Deebo Samuel, and how would you like to send this young gentleman some congratulations for making the list?
You know, I think the expectations got to be high. They really, really do. And I think that we have not seen Deebo at his best, which is crazy whenever you look back at 2021, because Deebo was everything. Deebo was the entire offense. Now you have Christian McCaffrey, and so it alleviates some of that pressure. Now Deebo doesn't have to be the guy every single freaking game, but he can be that, game changer and just bust the game open once or twice a game. And I think that's awesome. So defenses are going to have to choose. Do we allocate all of our resources on Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel? You can't do both. And with whatever the teams pick, the other one, if a team goes all in on CMC, Deebo's going to have an awesome game. And so, that is just such a great it's weird the way in which this team's going to be successful offensively. And I just freaking love it. It's like pick a cup, right? Where they put the ball in the cup and then they hide it and all that stuff. And it's like that one. And it's like, nope, it's over there. And so I don't think that the 1,770 all-purpose yards Deebo will be replicated, but the volume in which he impacts games, I think, can be. And so I'm very excited for him. He's in great shape. He's making plays the first day of training camp, the second day of training camp. It's going to be fun to watch him, man.
Listen, Deebo's returning to all-pro form. He'll be an all-pro. I'm saying it right now. And people are like, well,
Ooh.
Brandon Aiyuk is still going to have – I didn't say Brandon Aiyuk wasn't going to – I think Brandon Aiyuk moves into Pro Bowl status. Deebo Samuel returns to all-pro status. The 49ers are going to have a pair of wide receivers, to me, in the NFL that you're going to have to give them a nickname. And you're going to have to respect them as well. And I don't think the 49ers, just talking a little prequel stuff, I don't think the 49ers are going to have a problem paying Brandon Aiyuk next season after this particular type of season that he's going to have this season. You already came out and stated over and over again that the number one player in camp has been Brandon Aiyuk. Slightly behind him is Talanoa Hufanga.
Correct.
This is amazing. Two young pups, two young dogs going out there, putting their all out on the line and showing how they're improving. And this is not a knock on Deebo. It's not a knock on Fred. I feel like those two guys, you're expected to get certain. You know what you're going to get. We still don't know. Brandon Aiyuk is nowhere near his ceiling. And Talanoa Hufanga is just scratching the surface. So those are two players I feel like are going to take it up a whole notch this season. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm with you. And the fact that, look, you don't get to see what Deebo does until the pads come on and you tackle.
Thank you.
You don't ever see that in practice. You know what I mean? So the broken tackles and all that stuff, the Deebo special, right now you're just getting him on routes and it's working. So the fact that he is starting to show what he could do on routes, if he can improve that part of his game, create any type of separation whatsoever, watch out, man. And again, I saw the comment from Akshay. The fact that he was 61 on this list after last year, he has the respect of the league.
He has respect of the league. Well, respect of the players for sure.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is a players list. They're the ones that do the voting, and in the league as well. But the players up from this particular list, man, you spot on, man. 61, and we'll find out probably on today's show if any Niners make it into that, what is it, 60 below range, and it might be another player or two. Maybe Kyle Juszczyk will end up in that range because he's still a top player in the league. But we'll see what's going on. What's going on, Miss Debbie? Good morning. She says,
I
"Good
got to
morning,
see
Wayne
Debbie
and
the other
John."
day.
I know she told me.
Made me so
Bless.
happy.
You guys didn't take any. You didn't no photos. You too
I'm
busy to.
bad at that, man. I got to get better. I got to get better.
But when I'm near, you be like, "Breezy, snap this shot." I'm like, "Well, how am I gonna get in it?" And John's like, "Take a selfie." I'm like, "John, I got alligator arms, bro. Like, what do you want me to do?" But
You
it's
and me
good to see.
both, man.
It's good to see you, Miss Debbie, and it's good to see you in great spirits. Shout out to my man CJ Gray, who's back. He took a hiatus. I thought it was me. I thought I did something or said something wrong. He says first time live on the Breezy since about March. He said he needed to take a break until real football was back, John.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to
Oh
have
man, I love it, man. I love it a lot, man. Let's talk about the new signings, Terrence Mitchell and Kaya
Oh, yeah.
Tizino.
you. That was pretty good. It's Khyava. So yeah, whatever that is, it's
I spelled it
awesome.
wrong. So it's K
Oh, I might have
A
spelled it wrong.
H whatever. I want to spell
It-
it right though, because if he's watching, I don't want to. Let's look it up, John.
All right, I got you. I got you.
All right. So this
Tavino.
kid is from what is the other league called? The
He doesn't pull up. he doesn't pull. He didn't pull
long
up
as he
on,
pulls out. Hold
Oh,
up.
there we go. There we go. So Kha.
Okay.
You had it right. I had it wrong.
No, I had it wrong. You spelled it right. Spell it again.
Khyava.
Kyahva. I did have it right. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
you had it
Wayne
right.
Breezy with the spelling bee, man. I won in 4th grade, man. That shit coming in
I-
handy right now.
I was dyslexic. I am. Yeah, spelling's not my jam.
Too funny.
Not
Too
my jam.
funny. Linebacker. Here's the interesting thing. There's another former 49er linebacker that played on the same team with him named Reuben Foster, who had a great season in the USF. What is the name of the damn league?
USFL?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
right?
Yeah,
I think it's
that
USFL.
sounds right. Right. And then they ended up going with this particular kid. Did you get a chance to see him out there? If so, what are your
They had the
thoughts?
workout right after practice day 1, and I was like, man, I have no clue who these dudes are because they're just in workout shirts and whatever else. And so I saw the list of players that were going to work out, but I couldn't differentiate who they were. So I started watching. I was like, dude, I don't know who these guys are. Like, I can't get anything from it because I don't know who they are. Then the next day, you see this dude out there, and it's like, who the hell is that? Like, he was wearing number 51, which I didn't even add to my my roster.
51. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you-
he was wearing 51, and I was like, who's this guy? But yeah, there we go. It was Kahava.
That's how you say the name?
That's how I say it. It doesn't mean it's right, but it sounds awesome.
That sounds dope. Kahava. It sounds
Yeah,
like
it's
we're
clean.
from the Lion King or something. USFL confirmed Pittsburgh Maulers. And like I said, it wasn't Reuben Foster. Ishmael says Tizina was on the same team. Hey, look, I know something. We confirmed from one another for sure. But listen, any worries about any of the linebackers? No.
No, well, they had a number that they wanted to hit whenever they signed Sori Marin as an undrafted free agent. He got injured. They released him. And so with Nick Bosa not showing up, you got an extra roster spot. So this was just, hey, let's get somebody in there. Let's see what it looks like. You need a lot of linebackers for special teams. And so it's just another body. Now, whenever Bosa does come back, my prediction was the contract got done today. This is what I predicted a long time ago. I hope I'm right. I'm not sure I'm going to be. But whenever Bosa comes back, it'd be interesting if they keep him and knock somebody else or what that looks like. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Linebackers have been looking pretty good, though. I ain't going to lie.
I've read. Listen, Terradome says very active, 230 pounds, and he had multiple 11 tackle games or 11 game tackle. Oh yeah,
That's
11
right.
tackle games, and loves to blitz. So, guess who loves to blitz?
Wilkes. Steve Wilkes.
Wilkes. Wilkes. I mean, he's blitzing day 2 of training camp with no pads,
Yep.
which can possibly get the quarterback killed. And I say kilt, Kilt, kilt.
That's how I
know-
spell it.
I think that's how you wear. That's the one you wear, if I'm not mistaken. But no, seriously, like this is something good. God forbid something's to happen. This is a kid they're bringing in for a workout. This is amazing, and we'll see what he does. Right, we'll see what he does. He is signed to the Niners. What are your thoughts on Terrence Mitchell, former Oregon player? Listen, Eric Armstead talked about him a little bit, and he's happy to have him here.
Yeah, he looks the part. Whenever they came out, I was like, whoa, that's not right. 49 on defense in the secondary was supposed to be Deshaun Jameson. I was like, that's not Deshaun Jameson. So there was a lot of jersey new numbers and whatnot out there. So I was like, wait a second, who's this? I was like, oh, yeah, it's the new guy. There we go. It was
What
Mitchell. Look
is
at you.
is John the best, or he just segued into the next segue?
Look at that. I didn't even know.
New Jersey numbers. John, you got a list. I'm going to start off with Agent Zero. I don't give a freak if that's Gilbert Arenas or not. He's retired. He's gone, and no one remembers him. We got a new Agent Zero.
Gilbert. I remember Gilbert.
I know. But that's a whole different sport. I feel like you can share a nickname if you play in a different sport. Like people were yelling at me for calling Trey Lance Ice Tray. But I meant it in a whole different way. I mean, I know he's not that Trey Young, but it's a different sport. Anyway, Agent Zero, my guy, Samuel Womack III, who's having a tremendous first couple of days in camp.
Yeah, he's active, and what's interesting, they've just played him outside. And so, he came in, he was the starting slot guy, the nickel guy, week 1 last year. Now he's just playing exclusively outside, at least so far through camp.
In my opinion, that's where he belongs. But it would be good to see if he can play some nickel. All right, so go through these new numbers, bro.
Yeah, I got quite a few. Womack 0, Isaiah Winstead, the undrafted free agent wide receiver that put out the hype video, was 28, is now 2. Which I like that one. Robert Bill Jr., our rookie defensive end out of Georgia, speed rushers, now 55. Love that. The D Ford look. Deshaun Jameson switched from 49 to 22, which it looks great. He's out there with the gold cleats representing for Texas. I like that. Jack Coletto is now 33. He was 49 as well. Terrence Marshall, the new guy, is 49. Daryl Johnson, who's a defensive end, back of the roster type player where he is currently 66. Trey Swelling, who is the third nickel. Him and AJ Parker both getting some work there, 35. And then also, man, you got to talk about Isaiah Oliver. He switched to 26, which he played with whenever he was back at Atlanta.
Okay, so we have a little task that we're going to try to do. Let's go back. First person to wear number 0, because this is the new league rule, would be Samuel Womack for the 49ers. So
which he wore at Toledo.
Which he wore in Toledo. Thank you, John, for that. For that tidbit. Let's go to the next number. Let's see if we can find another 49er player. Is it what's the next player, the next number?
Let's do 26 was that's Isaiah Oliver now, was Womack.
Right, but who else from the 49ers wore 26? Let's see if they can guess.
Oh, I got a whole bunch. I got it right here.
Jack Knox says
a lot of old cats.
Who wears number 16? It was Joe Montana. No one will ever wear that number ever again.
You remember Tremaine Brock? You remember
Tremaine Brock? That's the one.
Jaquaski Tart wore it for 1 year, then switched up. Rod Woodson wore it.
Yeah.
There you go. Mark Roman.
Wendell Tyler?
Yeah, he was the best, but that was back in the early 80s.
That was before I was born. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the next number. I know you said someone wore 22. Is that Isaiah Winstead?
So 22, no. Goodness, I got it right here. Sorry, I'm a little out of order. 22 is now, what's his name? My guy, Longhorn, Deshaun Jameson.
Deshaun Jameson, former running back Amp Lee, used to wear 22 for the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken.
Dwight Hicks.
Dwight Hicks.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's a lot of old guys. Carlos Rogers, you remember him coming over? Matt Breida.
Carlos Rogers, yes. Matt Breida. Let's go to the next number. Tevin Coleman did wear 26. Thank you, Ishmael.
I saw a Tevin Coleman autographed jersey at camp yesterday.
Oh,
a
that's
kid was
cool.
wearing it. I was like, respect.
Listen, I know people gave him the shits, but at the end of the day, man, Tevin Coleman was nice. He just was getting older.
You remember that Carolina game where he just turned
touchdowns?
into an MVP for 1 week?
That's all we needed. That's what we needed. And against Carolina. Is that the game that made Luke Kuechly retire? Can't remember.
No. That
he was.
I know which one you're talking about, but yeah, Yeah, it became evident. Like, yeah, it's
It's
over.
time. All right, let's go with the next number. Let's see if we can get a couple of more numbers.
55. What about
50
55?
Well, 55 is Ahmed Brooks, but then it
Yep.
became
It was
D Ford.
D Ford. You've got Matt Hazeltine back in the 60s. Let's see, Winford Tubbs, John Johnson. There's a bunch of cats on there. Nobody's really sticking out to it.
So
Akeem Spence, I don't remember him.
Brooks and Ford. And Ford
Right.
played like 7 games. It's not funny, but them shits was them. Damn,
He's still getting paid this year.
he's getting paid $8 million. Listen, here's the thing, right? If D Ford, we're not gonna play if ifs was fifths. We'd all be drunk. We're not even gonna play the game. Go to the next number.
33.
Roger Craig.
Yeah.
That's the
Are
only
there
one.
any other ones?
I don't know. It's just Craig.
Tony Parrish. He was big.
Nah,
in
he was a
2000s.
safety. He was trash.
Tarvarius Moore.
I ain't gonna say it.
Yeah, that's That's what we got. That's what we
Roger
got.
Craig it is.
Roger Craig.
Next number.
Let's do 49, which is
That's not a real number to me.
it's weird. It's weird to see out there. Ralph McGill, Jeff Fuller, Elijah Mitchell was 49. Bruce Miller.
Oh, Bruce Miller. All right, we can't talk about him anymore.
Yeah, he good player, bad person.
Yeah. Yeah, very bad.
Daryl Johnson, 66. Oh, sorry, I'm my bad.
Do we have 2 66s?
We do. We have Joey Fisher on offense.
Yeah, okay.
And Daryl Johnson on defense.
That sounded
which
mad
I
weird.
want to give Joey Fisher his props. He was in charge of the pump up the crowd. Him and Ilm Manning,
the rookie hype machine.
Yeah, and Ilm Manning left that dude. Left him. He got embarrassed and freaking turned around and ran back to practice.
So Joey Fisher took over the Cupid Shuffle
by himself with pom-poms in hand, and that dude was leaving it all out there. So shout out to Joey Fisher.
Joey somehow is going to make this roster, man. Like,
he's a baller, man.
I know.
He looks the part. He really looks the part.
I know.
So,
any other numbers, or that's it?
Let's see here. We got 35 for Trey Swelling. Let's see here.
Dexter Carter. Whenever I see 35, that's the first name that pops up for me. Eric Reed would be the second name.
Yep. Eric Reed. He had a Pro Bowl rookie year, which was awesome. And then after that, it just kind of went downhill.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. I think that's about it.
All right, there you guys got the New Jersey numbers for the San Francisco 49ers. Injury news. This is good because it's the same. And if anything has changed, it's the fact that punter Mitch Wishnowsky is no longer on the NFI list. He was back at practice. And so let's talk about how good it is to have your specialists at practice, because Jake Moody was kicking it, and I'm sure Mitch Wishnowsky was punting it, and Tabor Pepper was long snapping it. So that's good.
And what was interesting is day one, Kyle Juszczyk had to hold for field goals because he's the backup holder.
That's it.
It's so it's just a trip, which I do think that Mitch Wishnowsky, this is a weird take. I think he's one of the best holders in the NFL, which is weird, but we do every single special team snap over on our Patreon. Mitch Wishnowsky might be the best holder in the NFL. Like, he's that damn good. I thought Tabor Pepper had a pretty down year, but Mitch covered up all the bad snaps amazingly well. So for whatever that's worth, I don't know. Maybe I need to do field goal holder rankings.
So, John, I have a question, because what happened to the backup quarterback being the holder for field goals?
Yeah, it depends a lot on how you want to practice. So this has been a new development if you have an athletic punter or an athletic specialist, because those three don't even practice. Your backup quarterback is always practicing. So he would have to stay late to get extra work in on those things. Now it's just like you three, y'all go. You remember the side building where the kids would go sometimes back when we went to high school, and they just stayed to themselves? Like, that's specialists for field goals. So you've got your kicker, your snapper, your punter. Those three just are on their own. And so, well, now we've got 2 kickers. So those 4 are just by themselves. So they can work on it the whole time. If you have a backup quarterback doing that, you can only work that after practice or before practice. So it kind of works. And Mitch Wisnowski is so athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He's so athletic, I confused him for George Kittle.
Do you want to address that again? You could make clarification. We got a bunch of people watching.
I made a huge mistake. I just made a huge mistake. I saw a mullet work it off to the side, and everybody was like, "Oh, George Kittle's over there." And I zoomed in. I was like, "Yep, that's George Kittle, not George Kittle." It was not George Kittle. So I corrected it, but so did George Kittle.
So did George Kittle. Well,
yeah.
I tell you what. Let's make this an announcement. Mitch, you need to get rid of the mullet. It looks cool.
It does look cool,
but you got to get rid of it.
One. You can only have one.
Right. And I feel like he has the mullet and Kittle just has the long wrestling hair. Like so it's a little different, but when they wear the hat backwards, it looks like a mullet. Yeah.
And he is athletic, man. I mean, he's a big dude, man. I mean, he's a big dude. So
well, I mean, he hurt his damn back lifting weights. What is he benching? 375? I mean, what punter benches 375? Like, you know what I mean? That's scary.
Yeah.
That's super scary. Darrell Luter Jr. is going to be on the PUP for a little while. And it's
he looks good working out though. He's amped out. He's
cutting
on the sideline, like pumping people up, and he's all in every single time the defense makes a play.
John, what did I tell you about Kyle Shanahan, dog?
Ain't gonna hide him. Ain't gonna hide him.
I want to keep that. I just want y'all to understand how the PUP and the NFI and the IR and all that stuff work. I just want y'all to know it worked different for the San Francisco 49ers. Was there somebody else you wanted to talk about? Because Mitch is back. You said something in
Kerry Hyder.
Let's talk about Kerry Hyder.
They were playing team, which Hyder is back to defensive end, which makes me so excited. That's where that dude is the ultimate team player and took one on the chin last year by moving to tackle, way underweight, not his job, but he did it because we had injuries. And it's a big reason why they brought him back. Now, the problem was he's working with the number 2s right now with Nick Bosa out. He rolls his ankle and like it was bad. It looked bad. You know, he kind of hobbles off to the side, takes his shoe off, and he's fine. He's pushing away the trainers, whatever else. But I got terrified because he has $0 guaranteed dollars. 0. And if that dude would have actually injured his ankle, I think his career would have been over and he wouldn't have got anything. He wouldn't have got nothing. That's the type of life that these players are like that's what they're going through. If this dude hurts his ankle right now, his career is over and he gets nothing from this year. Nothing. Like, and so we focus on Bosa and Deebo and Kittle and all these all-stars making millions and millions of dollars. That's not true for over half of this roster. And so it just, you know, I was in the stands and I was just like, gosh, no. Like, this can't be it, because I understand financially and all those things that this guy's been through, that he's risking being out there. And it's just, I don't know. I think I thought it put it into perspective. He's fine. He got reps later that day and looked good. So it's just weird. And how fragile of a thing. We saw it with Joe Burrow, Jalen Ramsey. This stuff always happens in the first couple of weeks of training camp everywhere. So cross our fingers. Hopefully things continue to stay healthy, which again has not been the Niners' MO. But I would argue right now we're the healthiest team in the NFL, and I hope that will continue. I really, really do.
Now, John, before we get to the next segment of the show, I want to do a couple of things, right? We got a couple of Super Chat contributions I want to go through. Before we do, we got the 49ers Rush road trip things happening very soon. I want you to go ahead and give us a little commercial tidbit on that. Let everybody know where they can go to purchase those tickets, because they're going to want to party with us. We're going to be on our Busta Rhymes stuff, and I guarantee you John is doing more than anybody out there. I'll see John on the away games, but he has a special treat for you guys out there in the Bay Area.
Yeah, we are doing 12 games this year, which is awesome. So, you know, the road games, Pittsburgh week 1. We're doing Minnesota Vikings for Monday Night Football, going to be gigantic. The Jacksonville Jaguars, which we talked about. We're doing a Thanksgiving Day tailgate up in Seattle, which is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. And then week 15 in Arizona, which I'm super pumped about because they didn't get a game last year. So that's just going to be a huge party. We're going to blow out the Cardinals, which is going to be great. But we're also adding 7 home games. Sorry, every single home game besides Christmas Day, we will be at hosting a tailgate, having a good party, and everything is all family included. So if you show up, if you want to get tickets, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. 18 and under, free with the ticketed adult. Food, we're going to have video game stations at home, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have raffles, trivia, contests, all kinds of stuff. We're going to be giving away. It's going to be an absolute blast. So if you have a family member that you're trying to get incorporated into being a fan of the Niners, bring them to one of our events. Trust me, we get repeat customers almost nonstop. So come bring them to one of our events. We'll take care of it for you. Everybody's got to have a good time. Bring them into the community that way.
Guys, you do not want to miss out. I'm going to leave it at that. Quick shout out to our sponsors. Listen, go to residency.com. Use the promo code SF Breezy. They have a sale on caps. I believe they have some hats out there that are $15. Excuse me, they're $20, which means if you use the promo code, you can get a hat for $15. I tell you right now, you're going to want to be rocking the brand because you're going to see a bunch of your favorite 49er players in them. And if you want to get those hats.
Did you see the Trent Williams one?
I did. And if he doesn't send me that hat, I'm going to sue him. I can't sue him because I'm sponsored by him, but I did see the hat.
It's baby blue. It's baby blue.
So dope, man. The colors are popping. They got good stuff. And here's the thing. The thing I love about them, I love the way that they represent and how they build like their network, right? So what they do is they go into these cities and they figure out which cities they feel like those fans are just like representing. And so San Francisco is definitely one of them. They got a great line of San Francisco hats with the SF on there. So go to www.residency.com. There's a 3 in there. Use the promo code SF Breezy. Save on your purchase today. If you like it, what you see on both channels, we're on the 49ers Rush channel. We're on the Wayne Breezy channel. Do us a favor. Hit the freaking like button. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to both channels. We truly would appreciate it. All right, John, it's time. The Brock has returned. This is like a movie. I wish I had the Batman music queued up, and I don't. But the Brock returns. John, you're going to give us a quick synopsis on Brock Purdy, and then we're going to talk about it for a little bit. I mean, I hope you have a little time. But the Brock returns, John. You ready, baby? Set, hit it.
Man, I was so excited. Everybody was excited. You know, we had day one, no Brock. He was out there with the towel around his neck, just kind of chilling like Brock does with his huge quads hanging out of his short shorts. Everybody was talking about his quads. Like, he was flexing on everybody day one. But day two, he comes out. If you never knew about that damn elbow injury, you would have not guessed it. The dude, the zip, the arm strength, he didn't take any plays off. He was just freaking throwing that thing. It was incredible. This is over a month ahead of schedule from whenever he was supposed to be cleared by the surgeons. It's insane that he is out there. And just the moxie and the attitude and all those things, the stats didn't really reflect a great day, but this is his first day throwing with his teammates. First day. Gosh, man, I just cannot understand how anybody would walk away from that practice not just completely pumped because of what he was doing out there. And the zip look there. He was doing the sidearm weird stuff that he does with his baseball motion. He was doing his rollout to the left, whatever pressure came. Didn't work out too well for him. But it's Brock. Brock is Brock, and he is back, and I could not be more excited.
Listen, you couldn't have given us the good any better than that. That was damn good, John. But I know there was bad, and I know there was ugly, and I need you to go through some of the bad. But before you do, Mose gave you a shout out. Congratulations, Chapman.
Man, dude.
Absolutely exciting to see your events grow. One of the most genuine dudes in the community who deserves all the good things coming your way. Mose, that was written so well. I think I want you to write.
Man. Thank you.
Everything for me too. So Mose, get to writing. That was nice.
I want to know if Mose what games he's coming out to. I want to know.
I think he's going to be at all the road games, and I think he's going to be at all the East Coast games. But you know what, Mose? I'm not you. You go ahead and put in the message, and you tell everybody when you were going to be. So John gave us the good on Brock Purdy. Listen, the zip is there. I've seen it for myself. That was my most worrisome. Will he still have the velocity? Zip, velocity. Remember that. Now, accuracy and things like that, that's going to come in time. You heard Brock say that he was rusty and things like that. But let's talk about the bad. What were some of the bad that you see going from his numbers, from what everybody is reporting? He wasn't very accurate, but there's context behind it as well. You have that context. Let's talk about the bad.
Yeah, the defense dominated all four quarterbacks, and so it didn't matter who was out there. It was very tight windows. The best throw of the day was to Brandon Aiyuk, screaming across the middle on kind of a 10-yard crossing route, where he lasered it in right between Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw for kind of a 15-yard gain, just right up the middle, which was clean. But outside of that, there wasn't much to be happy about as far as stats. Through a very easy interceptable pass,
We're getting into the ugly.
yeah, and so like that was bad. Some of them were high, a couple tipped passes. Like it wasn't polished, and it's rough because literally first time throwing with teammates, and you go against the number one defense in the NFL, and it showed. And this is something new for Brock. Brock had 3 first team reps all of last year during training camp. 3. I think he had
17.
about passing attempts. I think he had like 14 or 15, but I mean, he had all the ones. So this is just going to take some time. I kept saying I want 10 or more days for Brock to be with the team practicing before I want him to start week 1. He's going to triple that number. So that's good news. I don't care where the hell he started today, just that he started. So again, I keep going back to this. Just having him out there is gigantic. He's going to practice 2 days. Everybody else practiced 3 days. So that's going to get reps for Trey and Sam and all that stuff. But gosh, man, I'm excited to see Brock progress because this is something he's never done. He has never done first team reps. So this is all new, even with the injury.
And I'm seeing the progression, right? I'm seeing him with the confidence to go for the deep shot down the field. If you see man coverage, throw it. That's my rule. If you see man coverage, get the ball down the field, give your man
Which
a chance.
The Niners don't do much.
They
don't do much.
But my thing is the league will slip up and do it every now and then.
Correct.
And it makes sense. This league is a zone league. They got players out there disguising, hiding, waiting for you to make a mistake. And you saw the mistake, which to me was the ugly. The interception was ugly. It was an overthrow. It was a throw right to Sean Gibson. You saw that. That was the ugly. Give us a little bit more on that. Like, what made him throw? Did he have to rush the throw? Was the defensive pressure in his face? Like, there's context to that. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, he misjudged what coverage it was. He thought the safeties were dropping back in quarters or thirds. They were not. Tayshaun was coming down on an inside releasing route. Might have been a post, might have been a curl. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The wide receiver had the inside release on the corner. And so he assumed the safety was backing up. He was not. He came down in almost like a robber technique. It was just sitting in that kind of, 7 to 10 yard hook to curl on the inside of the wide receiver. Like wide receiver couldn't even get his hand on the ball. Tayshaun came down and just snatched it.
All right, man. So there you have it, man. That's your Brock recap, man. First day back. So he won't be throwing today, correct?
Nobody's practicing today, so full
tomorrow,
day off for everybody.
Okay, so tomorrow and Sunday
we don't know days. We don't know. So,
got you. It's just 2 days on, 1 day off. So we don't know which 2 days. Go
ahead.
Well, I only said that because I believe on day 1 he threw, even though it wasn't a practice like it was yesterday. Like
Oh, you're talking about whenever they did the conditioning tests and stuff, where media and stuff weren't out there. Possibly.
So we'll find out. So on Saturday when they practice again, and on Sunday when they open it back up, we'll find out. But listen, you said something that stuck to me. It's good that he's out there. It breeds for healthy competition. I know people feel like there's not a competition at the quarterback spot, and that's fine. Brock's QB1, Trey Lance is QB2, Sam Darnold is QB3. I think that's the ranking order that I think everybody has those quarterbacks in, but it's still a competition. And those guys are going out there competing. Let's talk about recap training camp. And so give us the highs and the lows of day 2.
Yeah, I think look, I'm gonna do this, and I hate it already. The defense is number 1. Jake Moody got the crowd pretty amped up at the end of practice, kicking some field goals. So I know that'll make Wayne happy. Jake Moody looked good, but so did Zane Gonzalez. So did Zane Gonzalez. Oh, from Cambodia. What's up, Jim?
Cambodia. What's going on, Jim?
Oh, man, that is incredible. That is awesome. I want to go to Cambodia so bad. It's on top of my list. But yeah, the defense is number one. Aiyuk has just been crazy. I thought the tight ends had a bad day. I really did. Not George Kittle, but everybody else. Um, I went through here. Latu jumped off sides his first team rep, day 2, which they moved the ball back. He had a drop pass and team didn't look good. Willis dropped a pass, but then caught 3 straight. Warner dropped a pass. Dwelly didn't really get too involved. And so I tight ends are struggling. We're going to have to see. Not George Kittle, but the other guys are. And that's a fight. That's something I want to see. I would say Braden Willis so far has kind of shined the most, which he might be 4th on that list, but he's playing pretty good. So we'll have to see how we'll have to follow that.
So the tight end room trending down. Well, the depth. Let's talk about the running back room. I'm going to go through all the rooms.
Let's do it. Yeah. To me, real quick, just the eye test on speed. CMC's whatever. He's amazing.
Right.
But Jordan Mason, quick.
That's good. That's
LeBorn,
good.
Quick. Those guys are popping speed-wise. TDP showing more versatility, which I like. Elijah Mitchell, I didn't think popped too much yet, but I think he's the leader in the clubhouse with those guys. So take that for what you will.
I mean, you already know what he can do. His biggest crutch is finding a way to stay healthy.
Right.
And see, listen. I'm gonna give that man his flowers, because had he not took the helmet to the knee week 1 in Chicago, it would have been a different season. Possibly, if he didn't take that helmet to the knee, we wouldn't have got CMC. So, like, everything happens for a reason. We just need him to be healthy, because that dynamic combination, CMC and Elijah Mitchell, that will scare a lot of people in the NFL. And then when you can hit them with some of these side weapons like a Jordan Mason or a TDP or Ronald Awatt or a Laburn, like that's scary. So the running backs room is something that I have my eye on. I want to see who's going to be. I feel like it's CMC, Elijah Mitchell. Those are automatic. Now, who's going to be the 3rd and 4th running backs if we keep 4?
That seems open. That seems open right now.
Okay. Let's go to the wide receivers, bro, because you gave me one that's automatic. We know Brandon Aiyuk is automatic. We know Deebo Samuel is automatic. People might want to know what you see from Deebo, because he looks brand new. Let's talk about the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I think Deebo has been getting a little bit more space than we're used to. Again, Deebo's kind of flaws against man coverage, and the Niners play a lot of zones. So he's been able to find those spots, which is really, really nice. Juwan Jennings, contested catches, physical, without the pads. Dude just shows out. Ronnie Bell getting some good snaps in there, which is fun. Deebo tried to help him line up. It was pretty funny. It's like Deebo was on the line of scrimmage and Ronnie Bell was behind him, and Deebo's like, over here, man. And Ronnie Bell was like, you could see like panic. Deebo goes, you over here.
I wish you could have recorded that. I need that. Oh man,
they won't let us film during team drills.
Only the Niners.
Yeah, they won't let us film that. So it's what it is. But Tay Martin continues to show out on routes. He had a drop pass, but he is leaving every single thing on the field. Every single thing. Ray looks super fast.
Interesting.
I think that's Danny Gray looks super fast, but again, those aren't translating to receptions yet. So we'll see.
Because it's not all about speed and Kyle Shanahan's offense. Speed is just like a little extra icing on the cake. You gotta find a way to get open. Like, you got to be able to block and find ways to get open, because when those wide receivers get those passes, your behind turns into a blocker. You better be able to seal an edge to make sure that the wide receiver can get outside and run past. We see Brandon Aiyuk, Juwan Jennings. How does Juwan Jennings look too? You didn't mention him.
He contested catches and physicality. Like, those 3 are different, and they start practice. Aiyuk, Deebo, and Juwan Jennings kind of get in a triangle and just play catch for a while and joke around, like, before practice starts. So I love seeing that.
All right. Kali has a question about Jennings' contract. He wants you to go ahead and take a stab at this. He says, Wayne, can you have John explain Jennings' contract? Because I thought he was a free agent after this season.
He is not. Well, he is a free
He
agent,
is a
but he'll
free
be
agent.
restricted. He'll be
Correct.
restricted.
Yeah.
So
Will own his
because
rights.
Juwan Jennings' rookie year, true rookie year, he never played or was on the active roster. That does not count. So that rookie year it's tolled, is TOLLED, I think is the way it's spelled in the contractual NFL language. So this is his third year. So until you have 4 accrued seasons, you cannot be an unrestricted free agent. So, and Marco and I disagreed with this on a show earlier this week. You'll be able to keep Juwan Jennings for $4 million next year just fine. Uh-oh, what'd I do? What did I do? Oh, yep. I'm with you, Phil. I'm with you, Phil. This is the way of Breezy. You got to read that. You have to read that.
I didn't mean for you to stop mid-explanation.
I saw you laughing. I didn't know what's going on.
Uncle Phil speaks. It's listen, 8 a.m. What an ungodly time to be awake. If Breezy didn't live 3,000 miles away, I'd have to fire him for scheduling this episode in the middle of the night. These are facts.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's 11 a.m. here. Well, it's later now, and I got things to do. But John is willing. I figured on the West Coast, y'all having coffee right. Don't y'all work out there? Nobody works.
California people don't get up early at all.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
It's not a thing.
I'm learning. Sorry about that, John. Please get back to explaining.
Juwan Jennings is not going anywhere for another year, in my opinion. People disagree with me, but to pay $4 million or $5 million for a slot wide receiver of that pedigree that blocks that well, I mean, that dude's going to get $8-9 million in the open market easy, like Kendrick Bourne did.
Right, but when it's time. So I think people forget how the 49ers front office manipulates the contractual terminology. They're like defense attorneys when it comes to stuff. They find the little loophole in the law and they make it to go in their favor. And unfortunately, this may be a bad thing for Juwan Jennings, right? Because every person wants to become a free agent at some point, be unrestricted, go out there, test the market. But I think the way that this team is built, I think the community that's within this team, I think he's okay with it. I'm not sure. I haven't had that conversation with him, but I think he understands how it works. I was a 7th round draft pick. I got cut. I got re-signed because of this. I haven't accrued 4 seasons yet, things like that. I think he's starting to understand that. But listen, all he has to do is go out there and keep putting his best damn tape out there, and then eventually they're going to bite. They're going to fish and they're going to bite, and he'll end up with that contract, which John always states he wants all of his players to get paid. And we can't pay everybody. So next year, I believe he'll be a 49er. They have that insurance with the Ronnie Bell. If he makes the squad, you say Tay Martin is moving up. They got other guys that can come in here, but it's a certain way that they just do business, and they were able to keep Juwan Jennings, and they'll be able to own his rights for another year. And I think that's where this comes down to. So is he a free agent? Yes, but he's restricted. The 49ers can own his rights, and it's going to be like some RFA tender type thing again.
My guess is a 2nd round tender, which is just over $4 million. And my voice is leaving. I've done like 20 shows this week, so I apologize, but we're going to keep rolling. We got more. We got more.
Couple of questions, because we're almost at that hour mark. And let's get to some Super Chat contributions after this question. But this is for the quarterbacks. John Paul over on Facebook says, question, guys. Can we carry 3 quarterbacks on this roster? I hope so. I know about the playoffs rule, but regular season. So, John, can we carry 3 quarterbacks on this roster?
Yes, and the 49ers will. If you were to ask Kyle Shanahan, he'd say we might carry 4. Which is probably not going to happen.
But I think that's why Brandon Allen's getting reps.
Yeah.
One of the
they
reasons.
Want to see what he can do. Yeah, you can keep 3 on your active roster. A lot of misconception about the new emergency quarterback rule. They have to all be on your active roster. And what happens if they are, you can keep 47 on the game day active instead of 46. So that's the extra player. So you can't keep 2 and then 1 on your practice squad and call them up. That's not how it works. They all have to be on your active roster. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Niners this year.
All right. I agree. It looks like it's going to be 3, which sucks because which position group is going to have one less?
Wide receivers.
The expendables, right? Like, I feel like you need the running backs, but I feel like you can cut the wide receivers, and you got a lot of vets there. And those vets are prime candidates because of the new rules
to bring back.
To bring back. Yeah, this is interesting. So let's talk about we got some super chat contributions. I'm gonna foghorn for all of them that are in the queue. Steven Draper says, what about Winstead?
Yeah.
They want to know how he's looking out there in camp.
Number 2, he stands out in position drills. He's not getting any team reps. So some 7-on-7 stuff, but nothing to highlight or jump off yet. But he's so low on the depth chart. Again, this is somebody that they brought in after the initial undrafted free agents with 0 guaranteed. No, I think he got 1,000 guaranteed dollars. So back into the roster guy, he's going to have to prove some stuff first. They're not giving him ample opportunity in team yet. So we'll have to wait and see what that looks like.
All right. Let's go with our guy, Coach Cruz, in the building. Now, he was referring to the top 100, and he says, if Micah Parsons is higher than Bosa, it's going to be a problem for opposing teams this year.
The Parsons thing is interesting because he's a hell of a player.
And the players love him.
They do. We'll see. Bosa's got a lot to play for. You know, Bosa's number 1 goal last year was not defensive player of the year. It was the all-time 49ers sack record. 19.5, Aldon Smith. He didn't get it. He didn't get the all-time sack record. So I think Bosa's going to be hungry. No way in hell Parsons is a better defender than Bosa. He's more electric, and I'm fine with that. Understanding his burst off the edge, all those things. That's not really how Bosa wins, but I'm all right. Bosa's better. I don't think anybody disagrees with that, but I wouldn't be shocked if Parsons is higher. He shouldn't be, but a lot of people really like Parsons. He's much more active in the player community than Bosa is. Bosa just sticks to himself and his brother and his family. Parsons is out partying with, whomever else, and so it's different. It's different.
All right. Let's keep it going. Jax has a couple of contributions. He wants everybody to know that 16 is a special number, and because her birthday is September 16th. So it looks
I'm
like
the 14th. I'm right before you, Jax. What's up?
Who wore? So you're Sam Darnold. She's Joe Montana.
That is factually correct. She is that great. She is that great.
Man, too funny. And then she followed up and says, I think I'm going to get 3rd and 15 shirts to sell. All right. Do your thing. I mean, that's pretty daggone cool. I do have some out there on Teespring, I believe, or whatnot. We got to move them over to the Wayne Breezy Entertainment Network site, which we'll be doing. So we have some 3rd and 15. Jawan Jennings is a special player. You know what I mean? He plays with a special grit. He's a tough guy, man. Tough guy. And he fits the Niners, right? He fits the mentality of the 49ers. And I know we don't like to see this from him because it's just not in his wheelhouse. But when he catches a route, when he catches a pass on a route and gets yak, that shit gets me so excited because we know he's not that fast, but he still finds ways to get yards after the catch. Still finds ways.
He's a hell of a player, man. Remember, he was recruited to Tennessee as a quarterback. Like, that's what's crazy. He was an all-state quarterback in high school. He's a good dude, man. Fun player.
And John, I asked earlier about when I asked you about the quarterbacks being the placeholders for the kickers. I didn't mean in practice. I meant in games. Like, why is that gone? Like, because doesn't that give the opposing special teams, they have to prepare for the option for a fake pass or something like that?
Kyle does not do those things. He does not want to leave a pivotal play up to chance or luck. He would much rather have his offense out there. And so we don't fake anything. That's not what we do. We haven't done it since he showed up. And I don't like that, but I'm with you.
We got one more super chat contribution to get to, then John's going to take us out, man. He says, this is from Sean Shepard. Thank you so much, man. He says, hey, guys, can you organize a meeting so we can telepathically slap? So you want to Dr. X people, Dr. X slap people, all these reporters and content creators saying Purdy looked terrible. What the H? A major surgery, injury comeback, first practice. Now, I don't know if he wants to go here because I wasn't going to go here. But I'm gonna go here because if that was Trey Lance,
Yeah, that's true.
there would be no grace given. But Brock Purdy's getting all the grace. Why? So like if he looked terrible, then he looked terrible. End of discussion. If he looked good, he looked good. End of discussion. But the same shit that we give to one player, we got to do it to all. We got to be consistent. So whenever I see Grant Cohn, he's getting the biggest fucking high five slap from me because he said that he looked terrible. What's wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Brock came out and said he didn't look good. He didn't play good. So at the end of the day, it's just constructive criticism, and it just might be the lowest end of it. But at the end of the day, why can't we say one quarterback looked terrible and give him a grace pass? But if the other quarterback, let's keep it a buck, John. If that was Trey and he was coming off of that injury, which he did come off of an injury, y'all would have been like, he did all that work in the offseason and he still looked like shit. Yeah, y'all would have, not y'all, but the fans would have a field day. Correct me if I'm wrong, John, because it's starting to frustrate me.
No, I think you're right. Negativity sells. And I think the problem is NFL and football is nuanced and you have to provide context. You could talk about Trey Lance in week 1 of the Chicago game, but if you leave out the weather, what the hell are you talking about? It holds no premise. You're off. And the same thing about Brock Purdy right now. Yeah, you can talk about it was a bad practice, but if you leave out the surgery and all that stuff, then whatever. So my thing is, let's be consistent from the other angle as well. Like, I think context and nuance is what's lost in journalism today. So I don't know. You can how'd you start this show, right?
Positivity.
Positivity. There's so much positivity in regards to Brock Purdy. Just because those assholes want to tear down every single person and negativity sells, and some people are just going to be negative no matter what happens all the freaking time. I don't want that to be us.
It shouldn't matter, in my opinion. And I said Brock had no offseason. You're 100% correct. He had zero offseason. He had zero continuity building with the teammates, even though he was recovering and preparing to throw. But at the end of the day, if he looked terrible, he looked terrible.
Yeah, not good. If you just look at the plays on the field, you would say, yep, that's Mr. Irrelevant. That's what he looked like. But that leaves out a lot of the conversation. And hopefully we are bringing more than that. And just because other people want to tear down Trey all the time, man, screw those guys.
All I'm saying is, if you're going to talk bad about one, then keep it consistent. If you're going to talk good, keep it consistent. That's all I'm saying. Look, listen, what do I expect from Brock? I expect him to come out and be Brock Purdy, the Brock Purdy that we saw. Will it take time for him to get there?
Yes.
I don't know. It should, right? Because he didn't have that offseason. But at the end of the day, he has to go. This is good that he looked terrible so that he can never go back to looking terrible again. But if Trey Lance has a terrible day, let's not throw him under the bus for having a terrible day. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I mean. So that's it. John, great show. I love Fridays because you cap off my week something. I don't know if that deserves a pause, but you know what I'm trying to say. it was the perfect end to the week for me for streaming. John, I hope you have a great weekend. Are you ready to send us home?
Yeah, man, I'm pumped. Sorry about the voice, guys. I just been talking too much. It's just the way it goes.
You talk too much and you never shut up. That was my song.
That was good. But that's going to do it for us here today. Positivity. This fandom is awesome. Really appreciate all you guys and the support you continue to bring. Until next time, stay strong, faithful.